Bonnie, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I believe we're ready to begin the meeting.
Thank you, Cassandra. Welcome, commissioners. Let's start with the mission, which is to develop, advance, and nurture all facets of the arts to enhance the quality of life for Meridian residents and its visitors. Let's do the roll call. Commissioner Taylor. Lizzie?
What? Oh, shoot me now. I'm here.
Good. Commissioner Peters.
Present.
Commissioner Schofield.
Here.
Commissioner Griffith here. Commissioner Gayton.
Here.
Commissioner O'Leary.
Here.
Commissioner Kevin S. Williams. Commissioner Vanucci. Commissioner Wardell.
Here.
Okay, so we need to adopt the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt that, please?
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The agenda is adopted. Next is the approval of the minutes from the April 14th meeting. Did everybody have a chance to read those minutes that were attached? And if so, can I ask for an approval of those minutes? A motion, please.
Madam Chairman, I'll move to approve the minutes.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The minutes are accepted as written. Next is the monthly financial statements, and there was a memo to the budget. So I hope everybody got the chance to look at that. And so may I ask for an approval of the financial statements?
Madam Chair, may I say a word about the financial report?
Of course.
So the finance department is no longer going to be producing a monthly budget report ledger for us. The budget is now available. It's been set up in opengov.com. So there's a link in the memo, and it leads to the site. And this is to foster transparency, performance-based budgeting, collaborative procurement, and digital resident experience and engagement for public users and commissioners. So all of our budget, and this is updated nightly from the city's finance department. So it's a great way to look at the things. It does take a little bit of getting used to. I don't know if anyone had a chance to look at that yet. But if anyone has questions about it, feel free to ask me. A couple of things that went through the budget recently, for example, some payments to the Treasure Valley Children's Theater, the first mural payment, Americans for the Arts, and I think those are the main new things for the budget. Let me know if you have any questions.
Well, thank you, Cassandra. If there are no questions, can we have a motion to approve the financial statement?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve financial statement.
Can we have a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
The approval of the financial statement stands. Next on the agenda is the update for the Initial Point Gallery. I think, first of all, Rhea, do you want to give us a report from the opening, please?
Sure, it went really well. I took a tally of people I saw coming in, and I had a total of 93, which is really good. And people seemed to love it. It was really wonderful also seeing the students who were so excited to see their art on the walls. So that was really special.
Good, thank you. And then there's a couple of things that need to be approved. The West Ada School District show, that was a PDF that Cassandra attached. And then the awards that the Arts Commission has given. So do we need to, do we need to approve that, Cassandra?
And that's actually item number 7. I think it may be attached in both places. But that's the award winners that the Arts Commission approved. And we want to approve them for traffic boxes. I would recommend that you only approve the 5 that are 2-dimensional for traffic boxes.
So can we go ahead and approve that item then under item number 3, or should we wait till we get down to number 7?
Madam Chair. This is Emily. I don't think you can see me, but
Oh, I can't see you, sorry.
okay, sorry, the voice from above, but please do that as part of number 7. But if everyone wants to look at them now, that would be fine.
Okay, thank you so much. So anyway, if you haven't had a chance to look at those, does anybody want to see those on the big screen? Or are you good with moving on to the next item? I assume that you've all looked at those then, and let's move on to item number 4, which is the Public Arts Committee. Bobby, do you want to, or would you please give us a report? I think you're muted.
Can you, yeah, hi, Madam Chair. Hi, everyone. And yeah, I'll report on our last meeting, and it was a few of about three items that we discussed. The Unbound Library, the artist, we had a meeting on April 22nd, and they presented their ideas, and it was well received, and there is a couple of adjustments that they made and that were requested, but overall, that project is moving along really well. And we also had a discussion on the Meridian pool mural, and a little bit of that's being discussed still. There was a meeting that took place, or was going to take place, and just to kind of confirm and to clear out some details, I think Cassandra could speak more detail on that. The RFQ and the RFP that was approved, Cassandra's also getting thumbs up with the procurement. We discussed the Tully Skate Park mural project a little bit. I would propose calling it an apprenticeship rather than a call to artists. Just maybe, and we discussed a little bit of that, and I think it was also received well in terms of maybe going that route. Cassandra could also speak more detail on that. She's been working on the agreement, and I think she has sent it out. I believe she sent it out to the artist already, so she'll also could talk a little more detail on that. We also talked a little bit of public art plan, and so again, the need for a professional organization to assist with the public art plan. stated in Bud stated a budget amendment would not be approved this fiscal year. So that, that probably will be next year where we start budgeting for that assistance. So that was, we all agree that we need it, but we also understand that it takes a little bit of time to get that approved, and it's going to require a budget that we all agree on. Let's see, we discussed the logo, a MAPS logo. I as a graphic designer have been working on some ideas, and I presented those at the meeting, and it was also well received. I presented 4 or 5, and 2 of those were well received, and I'm modifying them based on some of the feedback I got from the committee. And so at this next meeting that we have on Tuesday, I'll be presenting those. Actually, I'll probably send out an email prior, and we could discuss the updates on the logo. And hopefully by then we could vote on one. That was pretty much it. If I missed anything, let me know.
Madam Chair, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Bobby. So next is the Arts and Culture Coordinators Report. So Cassandra, if you would like to give us your report, please.
Will not be quite as fancy as some of the other reports with images, but will hopefully help you as I move along with some of the projects. So updates on some of the public art projects. The key detail mural, as Bobby mentioned at Unbound, they have sent the provisionally final designs. We'll be meeting with the library, and the library will give any final feedback. And then after their written approval, the design will come to the Arts Commission for approval and then move on to City Council. So that's exciting. The calls to artists. So we kind of have 3 calls to artists. The Initial Point Gallery call is open. The 5 Mile Creek Pathway one, that was approved by procurement. That's out and open. And then the Tully Skate Park one, still working to release, but that should come out soon. Initial Point Gallery call, we have 5 artists that have applied and 1 organizational show. I've posted that on social media a few times, sent that to College of Western Idaho, College of Idaho, Boise State, students and faculty, the Boise Open Studios, Treasure Valley Artists Alliance, Searles Place. It is also posted on the Boise City Department of Arts and History website, and I sent it to the Idaho Commission on the Arts. So if there's anywhere else that you can think of to send it, that's great. I think sending those kinds of things to individual artists sometimes get more responses than anything. So if you can think of any artists who might be a good fit for the gallery, please encourage them to apply. With the 5 Mile Pathway Trail Hub RFP, we currently only have 1 applicant, but I've had inquiries from a couple of others. Both are from out of state, which is interesting. So I've sent that call directly to 7 pretty local public artists. None of them, everyone that responded said that they were not going to be applying. I also had it listed on the McCall, Boise, and Nampa city websites. Didn't get a response from Eagle though. It's listed on the Coda Works website, the Regional Arts and Cultural Council in kind of the Portland area, and For Culture, which is kind of the like Washington area council, and on the Americans for the Arts public network. There's a few sites that have paid sites, but it's fairly well advertised, so hopefully we get a good response. After we released the Tully Skate Park one, which the agreements have been sent to Miguel, and I think he's probably ready to move forward. Then we can release the call for the youth mural artist, and then we'll do a citywide release for all 3 calls, which would be some really great PR. And I think it's really exciting that we have calls and opportunities for all kinds of artists available: gallery artists, public art professionals, and a youth apprenticeship. All good things happening in public art. Concerts in Broadway, agreements are in place for all the bands, and the audio agreements are in place for 2 out of the 3. I'm working to finalize the final concert with High Street. Reached out to the Meridian Youth Symphony Orchestra for youth performers and the Treasure Valley Theater for opening acts for the concerts. And Bonnie and I went to Meridian Development Corporation for a funding request yesterday. And they are awarding $10,000 for the concerts on Broadway. This is kind of an ongoing thing that they have been doing. We're very lucky that they help sponsor those concerts. They would not be possible otherwise. So they approved that, plus traffic box funding for 3 wraps in their urban renewal areas. I would have asked for all 5, but most of the boxes have already been wrapped within all of their districts. I looked really hard for several signal lights. I even drove out to 10 Mile, and they just don't have any within their districts anymore. And it doesn't make sense to just wraps to rewrap them. So there were a couple that probably need an update, had some peeling and things. And then there's 1 single tall skinny box that's not unwrapped. So they'll sponsor 3, and the rest we will do from the Meridian Art and Public Spaces Fund. The Tammy DeVeard's Awards in the Arts Selection Subcommittee will be meeting May 26th at 10 a.m. So if you have any nominations, please send those to me by May 20th so that they can be considered by the subcommittee. A couple of upcoming events. I sent out an email for the State of the City event. If you are interested in going to the State of the City event, I need to know by today. So if you haven't already, let me know, please do. Another event that's happening tomorrow is the Idaho Art Gallery open house and ribbon cutting ceremony. That's on Pine Street downtown in Meridian. So stop by that if you're able to. A few other highlights on social media. In April, there were 14 posts, 27 stories, and 2 reels. According to Instagram, we reached 3,173 users in April, which is a lot of people. We also do the citywide media release for the gallery openings, and we're working on a release for the 3 calls. A big thank you to Natalie for all of the traffic box images and text for the posts. I'm also requesting information, if any of you could send me information on yourselves, to include a profile image, a brief couple sentence biography about you, and a statement about why you love the arts and the Arts Commission. That would be a nice highlight on social media too. And that's my updates. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Cassandra. Next is, okay, so do we have any nominations yet for the Awards of Excellence?
Not yet.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the event update, the Treasure Valley Children's Theater performance of The Bad Case of the Stripes. I think there is the image of the poster that was attached. Was there anything else to add to that?
So
Cassandra?
their Meridian show is tomorrow night. I want to say it's on the poster. It's in the evening at Settlers Park. So I'd encourage any commissioners available to go to that performance. And if you miss it, then there are a few more performances at the, I think the Subaru which is in Nampa. So ideally, if you can go to the one tomorrow, would be a nice way to support the Treasure Valley Children's Theater.
Thank you. Item number 7 is to approve the Arts Commission West Ada School District Annual Show of Award winners for the Traffic Box Project. And those images were attached. So if we can have an approval of those, someone could make a motion, please, to approve those.
What's the matter with me? Madam Chair, let's start this all over again. I move that we approve the selections for the traffic boxes as shown on our screens right now. They're fabulous.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is the traffic box arts that was selected as winners is approved. Item number 8 is the application for Idaho Humanities Council opportunity to display the Smithsonian Institution exhibit. Cassie, can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, I found out about this opportunity through a postcard that was mailed out from the Idaho Humanities Council. And I spent a little bit of time looking into it, but not a ton of time yet. But it looks like a really good opportunity for something that we could apply for to bring to Meridian. It's a Smithsonian exhibit, and it's going to, I want to say 6 different towns. And they're giving special consideration for places under 20,000 people, which we are not. But I still think it would be really great to apply for. The show could be at the Initial Point Gallery. The deadline is coming up June 15th. It also comes with $1,500 to help with sort of marketing and a few workshops that they require. So if you're interested in applying for this, I would ask that somebody might be a lead to apply and work with me on that process. Open that up for any questions that I may or may not be able to answer at this point.
Madam Chair, Cassandra, I think this sounds like a great project and opportunity. I think the only question I had is they want it tied into future exhibits. Have you thought about those, or do you have ideas on what you would want to do with that?
Sorry, I didn't see that. Did they wanted to tie it into future exhibits?
Yeah, I was just looking. Community. Real quick.
And they bring the whole exhibit in. It's a traveling show that they take to the various towns.
Sandra, my one question was, it did say they wanted someone on the premises the whole time the exhibit is open. Would that count with the mayor's office across the way? That would be fine.
That's potentially a good question for them. My assumption that it is, yes, there's always somebody in City Hall when it's open, so.
If that's the case and we fit the task, I think it's a great opportunity for the gallery. I would say let's do it. I'm not sure how great I'd be at helping you apply, but I could give it a whirl, or someone maybe more knowledgeable. But yeah, I think we go for it.
Oh, yeah, I see where we're pointing out, Commissioner O'Leary, under the programming requirements. So there are some requirements that we would need to do, which could be helped with the $1,500. And this would be a really good project to partner on with the Preservation Commission, because some of those are oral history collection, programming, And they're supposed to be leading up to, during, and in the weeks after the exhibit. So they could be in conjunction. And I imagine they would have some materials and things for us. So I think that's doable if I have help.
Thank you, Cassandra. And any help you need, I'll chip in.
Cassie, are we able to, if we're selected, are we able to pick the time that we would exhibit it?
Madam Chair, that's a really good question because we are already doing the programming for Initial Point Gallery, so we would probably want to know sooner rather than later. I was looking at the tour schedule and some of them happen later in the year, sort of at the end of 2023 and beginning of 2024. Those would probably be easier to slot, but I don't know that we have a choice. So that's a really good question for the application.
Madam Chair, I was looking at the application thing and there's like a first choice for date, second choice, and third choice. So you do get some sort of pick, but again, it goes down in list.
So I think it's really worth pursuing. And Cassandra, I'll help as much as I can as well. So I think you've got some help maybe to pursue it.
Madam Chair, I move that we apply for the Idaho Humanities Council opportunity to display the Smithsonian Institution exhibit.
Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, let's, we're approved to move forward with the application for the Smithsonian exhibit. And then Cassie, do we need to have a special meeting for anybody that wants to work on that project? Or what's your?
I think maybe at this point, it sort of sounded like maybe Commissioner O'Leary is available and open to sort of being the lead. So maybe I could meet with you, Patrick, and then we could kind of see if we could hammer out some of those details and make contacts. Did you want to be the lead? Okay. And then I'll reach out to people as we need help, because I think at this point, maybe just getting some of the questions answered and the application going.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 9 is the potential use of $1,500 from the Arts Commission budget for a project assistant or intern from Boise State for arts and cultural project activities. And I think that's been amended a little bit, right?
So, Madam Chair, I think I jumped the gun a little bit in putting this out there. I've been looking at how to potentially get an intern and someone that is paid and talk to HR, and finally, so had a meeting, which is very good. And HR had the idea of, is there any money available in the temporary part-time seasonal recreation camp counselor? And the answer is because unfortunately, they're not running camps, as many camps as they normally would this year because they weren't able to hire people. So there is money in that budget. So I'm writing an internship description and hope to have an intern. So nothing from the MAC budget, don't need anything. So that's an update there.
Yay.
Madam Chair, can I make one comment on that? This is Garrett.
Hi, Garrett. Thank you.
The only comment I would have on that is Cassandra's absolutely right. We're trying to get her a little bit of help with some stuff. And we do have some funding potentially available because we don't have the camp staff right now. We typically try to run 3 camps. We have staff for 1 camp. So we do have some savings there that we can probably use. The caveat to that is we don't really want to set the precedent that funding is going to be available next year, if that makes sense. So this is kind of a one-time thing. So I would not be surprised if Cassandra comes back to you next year and asks for this types of funds potentially to help some of this intern. So I just want to make sure that expectation is set that this isn't annually at this point because we didn't ask for it, or we didn't get it approved for next year by any means. It's just the savings we have for this budget. So maybe next year if there's savings, but I can't guarantee or promise that. So, and then we'll try to ask for it for FY24, if that makes sense. So just wanted to put that caveat out there. It's not a guarantee for the following year.
Thanks, Garrett.
Madam
Yeah,
Chair, sorry. The only question I have is, Cassandra, how long would this cover? How long would you get somebody?
Yeah, so looking at trying to get them in place as soon as possible, although it kind of takes a little bit of time because the end date is September 30th. That's kind of the fiscal year budget. But currently looking at a 19-hour a week for 3-ish months sort of position that's paid around $13 an hour, which I think looks like a very good internship opportunity. And I've been working with a professor at Boise State who works in the community and regional planning sort of department. So, and one of the professors there that I reached out to, Amanda Ashley, she's really great, and she focuses a lot of her coursework on placemaking and public art in particular. So one of her students would be really great. But it will be open to all
I was going to
students.
say, I've got a meeting on Monday with some faculty from Boise State Music Department. So if you want to give me whatever you've got, and I'll pass it along to them.
Yeah, it might not be ready quite by then, but when it's ready, because it'll be posted publicly, it'll be a publicly posted position, then I'll make sure everyone knows about it, and you feel free to send it out to anyone.
Great, thank you. Any other discussion? Item number 10 is brainstorm and identify max 2022 commission goals and priorities. Cassandra?
And I'm actually going to hand this over to Garrett White, because this is an activity that the Parks and Rec Commission does annually, and is something that I'd like to have the Arts Commission and the Historic Preservation Commission start doing to sort of help focus and prioritize all of the goals and planning.
Madam Chair, this is Garrett. So like Cassandra said, this is just something that we've done at other commissions, like recreation in particular. And it has helped us as staff really help us define what the commission as a whole wants us to kind of focus on, or what their priority goal is. This is going to be extremely difficult, so it's going to be challenging you guys as commissioners to kind of help rank these different things that Cassandra puts up on the board here. There's no right, wrong, or indifferent answer. If any of these goals or projects weren't important, they wouldn't be on here. They're all important. It just helps us focus to get help focus Cassandra's time. And really the discussion we just had regarding the assistant or intern kind of helps really tie into this, because Cassandra does need some help, right? So this will just kind of help us. Like I said, it's an exercise we do with the Recreation Department or Recreation Commission that's been extremely helpful for staff to try to help prioritize our time as well as focus on specific projects. So reiterate again that there's no right, wrong, or indifferent answer, but what we're going to do is ask you guys to go through some of this list, and Cassandra can kind of go through this list in more depth than I can, obviously, but to kind of look at this list, and then after Cassandra explains kind of what's in that list, give you guys a couple minutes to look it over, think about it, take your pen and paper, and just kind of prioritize that list for us. And then once we're done with that, and you guys all kind of have a couple minutes to look at them, Cassandra can go around and call on each one of you. One of you brave ones will have to go first and tell us kind of where you rank these, for lack of better words, in your priority list, you individually. And at the end, we will take the average of each one and kind of have a prioritized list in theory. Cassandra will probably ask you here in a second if there's something missing, or if there's something you guys want to add, take away, that type of thing. And just because this is a practice we're doing now doesn't mean it can change. This is something we do with the rec department every year. And Cassandra can kind of talk to you guys about that too, but it's just to kind of help us focus where you guys are as a whole, as a commission. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Cassandra.
Thanks, Garrett. So I tried to get these, hopefully everyone can read it, what's up on the screen, but items A through L are really the main goals and priorities that I've identified after working here for 5 months as the commission's goals. So these are open to adjustment if there's things that you think should be on here that are not on here. But these are the main goals. So the first one is to program the monthly exhibits at Initial Point Gallery, which includes things like hosting the opening receptions, marketing the yearly call to artists, and having the selection panel for new artists, and the application for the Spark Smithsonian exhibit grant would go under this. Item B, support the completion of the Meridian mural series at Unbound and the Ward Pool. C is support the 5 Mile Creek Pathway Trail Hub and participate in the selection of artists and project proposals. D is support the development of the Discovery Park Phase 2 public art project, which is not something that we have started on yet, but something that I believe is probably a near future goal. E is maintain the existing traffic box series, which includes selecting the artworks, approving the locations, and commissioning the installation of the new traffic box wraps. F is engage the community through Art Week, and that includes all the programming, marketing the events. G is supporting the Concerts on Broadway series. H is another new project supporting the Tully Skate Park mural completion and participating in the selection of the Youth Apprentice. I is pursue development and completion of the public art plan. And this is a note in there for fiscal year 23-24, which is when we talked about revisiting this plan. But other things that we could be doing in the meantime is researching options and looking at help from professional public art contractors. J is developing an RFP to use for the selection process to support the performing arts programs through partnership and fiscal support of organizations like the Treasure Valley Children's Theater and Huckleberry Star Theater and others. K is increase inclusive programming through representation of diverse populations and marketing to underserved and underrepresented populations. L is presenting the Mayor Tammy DeVere's Awards in the Arts. So just because something is ranked lower on this list doesn't mean that's not a goal, because anything that's on here means that it is a goal. But this just helps us to sort of prioritize. So we'll take a few minutes, and then most of you have like sticky notes and a pen next to it. And what you'll do is I'll bring this back up in just a second, but you'll put in order of 1 through 12, 1 being the most important, 12 being the least important. And then you'll just call out to me, and I'll change these if you want to change any of the wording, but this will be A, B, C, D. And so you'll just say, 5, 3, 2, and then I can sort them. So, but first, do you have anything that you want to add or change? So I'll open that up to questions.
Cassandra, this is being nitpicky, but on item L.
So Cassandra, is this based on basically just this year's goals and
So this is this year, and ideally we'll do this activity every year in, I think Parks does it in December, sort of for the following year. So a lot of the goals continue to be the same goals for the following years, but some things change and some things move around. So this is for 2022, and then we'll come back to this in December, January for 2023.
Okay.
All I would say is good luck ranking them. Those are all pretty, those are going to be tough. So.
This is Bobby, Commissioner and Madam Chair. Can you, Cassandra, maybe elaborate on K?
Yeah, so K was increase inclusive programming. I know that's something that's on the strategic plan, and I know that there was a subcommittee at one point to work on various ways to increase inclusive programming. So if that's one of the things that you think is a top priority, and that would kind of run through all of the programming. And it's something that I think we should always be doing, but depending on where you rank it, maybe I'll spend more or less time like focusing on that as something that we are doing with each thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That makes sense. And that's kind of where I was coming from. It feels like it applies to like an all around topic. And so, yeah, thanks for elaborating.
Hi, everyone. It's Lizzie. I just want to say that so we don't go around giving each other the side eye because of our selections. I, for one, frankly, I'm not disinterested in public art and music and stuff like that, but I am much more interested in visual art. So, just because I tend toward the visual, don't think poorly.
I can't hear you.
I don't know if everybody caught all of that.
Yeah, I could not hear her.
Okay, it's Lizzie again. Just so we don't go around giving each other the side eye because of how we might have voted. Case in point, I am a visual artist. I am not disinterested in music or performing arts, but I am much more interested in the visual arts. So bear in mind that this is sort of like preferential editing. There's no Chicago style guide here. It's not right or wrong. It's just how you feel about it.
Exactly. And to that point, that this is tough. I mean, this is a tough exercise to do because a lot of these, I don't know where I would rank some of them. So, but to that point, this is exactly why we kind of want to know, because it's hard for Cassandra to sometimes figure it out too. So, like I said, no right, wrong, or indifferent answer. This is all just a collective help for staff.
And I think, Garrett and commissioners, that some consideration should be given, in light of my question, is this just for this year? It's what's hot, what's the hottest item currently? What do we need to do first of all? I guess is how I'm seeing that. Is that right, Garrett?
Yeah, that everybody's gonna have their own opinion, but that's exactly right. I mean, hey, these things need to get done now, or these things are already sort of rolling, like the 5 Mile Creek pathway thing. That stuff's started. I mean, we already have the RFP out, right? We're calling for artists on that. So yes, to your point, exactly.
So Cassandra, if you're ready to make some notes, I can give you a listing, if you will.
Okay, Bonnie, we can start with you.
Bonnie's the brave one going first.
Yeah, well, so I'm not in the building, I'm safe, right? No, so I think, based on kind of what I said about critical things that are happening and needing to be done, I put the Tully Park Skate Park down as number 1 for completion. Then concerts on Broadway. IPG programming because we are in the process of soon to be selecting our 2023 roster of artists. Number 4 is Art Week because that's coming up soon. 5 Mile Creek Trailhead.
So Bonnie, if you are able to, when I watch this, the easiest way for the, if you go from A to L, so then I can sort of do,
Oh,
call
okay.
out the numbers and then I can do this. If you're able to do that.
So you've got Tully Park, so you need number 2. Concerts on Broadway is number G. Then IPG programming number, which is A. Art Week. I don't see Art Week all of a sudden.
Got it. It's F.
Oh, thank you. And then the 5 Mile Creek Pathway Trailhead, C. Then Traffic Box Series, which is E.
Got it.
Complete Mural Series, that's B. Then develop the RFP for the performing arts, which is
J.
A. I'm looking at very small writing. Then awards of excellence, which is L.
Got it.
And then develop Discovery Park.
Got it.
And then the 8, the art plan. Which I believe is I.
Got it.
And then,
K for 12.
yes.
Got it. Is anyone
Adam,
else ready?
Or Cassandra, would it be more efficient to just hand you our Post-it with our ranking, or does it need to be public? I'm fine.
It's public because I'm doing it, so you can hand it to me if that.
If it needs to be out loud, I'm totally fine with that. But if it's more efficient to just hand you our Post-its and tally it up, or
It's fine if you're done. Yeah.
yeah.
We do need to say it out loud, but maybe Cassandra can say it. Okay, sorry.
Yes, that's great.
I can give you mine. If you're ready.
Ready.
A7, B10, C1, D8, E9, F6, G3, H11, I5, J4, K2, L12.
Excellent. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Cassandra, I can give you mine. This is Jessica. A8, B1, C5, D9, E10, F6, G11, H2, I4, J7, K3, L12.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready. This is Natalie. A2, B3, C7, D8, E5, F6, G9, H4, I12.
Wait, sorry, can you go back to G?
Yeah, sorry. G9. I'm not watching you type, I'm sorry. H4, I12, J10, K1, and L11.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Lizzie. I can give you mine, and boy, are there going to be some differences of opinion. But like I said, no side eye. We just can't do that.
Everybody stare at her now.
Lizzie, I'll just turn my camera off while you read yours out, so you can't see my side eye.
Yeah.
Okey doke, here we go. A1, B2, C4, D10, E2, F11, G9, H8, I2, J10, K5, and L4.
So you have some duplicates on there, Lizzie. You've got 3 2s and 2 4s.
I didn't understand that. Oh.
Yeah.
It is just not my day, people. I'll redo this.
I could go next. Okay, this is Bobby. I just want to say for K, it could either have gone for me 1 or 12 because I feel it's important. But in terms of, I put it at the end because I think it should just be covered in general. So I'll start with A3, B1, C2, D10, E11, F5, G7, H4, I8, J9, K12, and L6.
You can go A8, B2, C4, D12, E9, F6, G7, H5, I1, J10, K3, and L11.
Could you go back to JKL?
Yes, J10, K3, and L11.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm still working on this. I am one confused person. Okay, here we go. And thank you, Natalie, for helping me through this miasma of a problem. Okay, A1, B2, C3, D4, E6, F12, G7, H10, I11, J8, K5, and L9.
So as Cassandra goes through and highlights these, you guys will see that the low numbers are going to be the ones ranked higher, obviously, and the higher numbers are ranked towards the lower ones.
And sorry to put those in Thomas's category.
You'll have to grab the whole thing. So it'll carry the, yeah. And then sort by L. L.
Okay, so with the averages, we have in order of the priorities, for the top priority being support the completion of the Meridian mural series at the Unbound Library and the Ward Pool. And then the 5 Mile Creek Pathway Trail Hub, and then programming the monthly initial point gallery shows, then the Tully Skate Park mural, then increase inclusive programming, then Art Week, then concerts on Broadway, then the public art plan, then traffic box series, then a new RFP for the performing arts. Sorry. And supporting the Discovery Park development, which makes sense because we might be doing that a little bit later in the year. And then the Mayor's Awards. Any final comments or thoughts?
My final comments would be is there's no right or wrong answer. This literally just helps us prioritize things, and that this does not mean any of these are going to drop off the table. I want to make sure that's clear, right? So all these are still priorities and goals that we want to do. It just helps us prioritize those goals. And they're going to be worked on, all of them, not just top. All of them will be worked on still, so. Thank you guys for doing this. This really does help us as staff have a better understanding of what the priority is. So thank you for doing that. This is hard. I mean, look at this. This would have been hard for me to do, and you guys are more into it. So thank you guys for doing that.
Okay, Cassandra, do you have any other comments about this little process?
Madam Commissioner, or President, I'm just wondering, will we be able to add the two missing commissioners' input on this?
That's a good question.
What does the Parks and Rec Commission do? Did they,
Typically Parks and Recreation, we haven't added them in the past. Not that their input's not valuable. I mean, it's always valuable. I don't know how much it would sway things. It may not. Good question.
Madam Chair, this is Emily. I think that Cassandra could gather the scores from, is it 2 commissioners that are absent?
yeah.
And then just include that either in the minutes or otherwise bring it forward to the full commission. Or you can move on without those, however you decide.
Personally, I would probably reach out to them and say, hey, this is what we're doing. No right, wrong, or answer. I'm going to include their answers in the minutes and go from there. Unless you guys all wanted them to come back and we give you the final update with their stuff.
Hi, it's Lizzie with a comment as usual. We have a quorum, and if people can't come to a meeting, and I'm not saying that it's bad or whatever, but this is kind of, it's not that it's not important, but we have a quorum. The quorum has spoken. Let's just let it go at that.
With that, Lizzie, would you like to make a motion to adopt?
Sure, I make a motion to adopt what I just said.
Or to adopt the goals as they're presented right now?
I guess I'm in a sassy mood today. I vote that we adopt, what was it?
To adopt the 2022 goals and priorities as and they are on the screen.
Is there a second?
I move that we adopt the goals and priorities as shown on the screen. Does that serve the purpose?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the prioritization is, has been approved as stands, as listed on the screen. Thank you. Item number 11, the open meeting law presentation. Emily, I think that is you.
Okay. Well, is this on? This thing on? Okay. Oh, there's nowhere. Get that. You have the PowerPoint? Otherwise, I won't know what to say. Right now, anyway. Well, I'll introduce myself while it's coming. I'm Emily Kane, as you know. I'm the Deputy City Attorney. I provide legal support to the Arts Commission as well as the Parks Commission. Are these on? I don't know which one is on or off.
You're on.
Okay. They seem to cut out every now and then, but so I'm going to talk to you today about the Idaho Open Meetings Law. and a little bit about transparent and ethical government. I don't remember how this works. Do I? Oh, okay. Okay. Please advance to the next slide. Will you? This is the open meetings law owl. Okay. Again, the open meetings law is in Title 74 Idaho Code, the Transparent and Ethical Government section of the Idaho Code. Chapter 2 is the open meetings law. And that law includes the statement of legislative intent. The people of the state of Idaho, in creating the instruments of government that serve them, do not yield their sovereignty to the agencies so created. The formation of public policy is public business and shall not be conducted in secret. So of course, that means that the people own the government. The government is for the people of the people. And so as an instrument of the government, our boards conduct all of their decisions in public. Next slide, please. Does the open meeting law apply to the Meridian Arts Commission? Click, please. Yes. All meetings of a governing body of a public agency shall be open to the public. This, of course, is also in the open meeting law. Public agency is defined as the city and any sub-agency of the city. So a governing body is a board with the authority to make decisions or recommendations. So the Meridian Arts Commission is a governing body of a public agency, and the subcommittees are also governing bodies of MAC, which means that those are also governing bodies of the city. So it just kind of cascades down. As an instrument of the city, Meridian Arts Commission is, of course, subject to the open meetings laws. So that's on you to comply with them. It's a lot on Cassandra, but it's also on you. So what is a meeting? A meeting is a term of art, and this is the recipe. It requires a quorum plus a decision, or a quorum plus deliberation. A decision, of course, is any action that you take, usually with a vote. Deliberation means receiving information, exchanging opinions, anything related to the business of the Meridian Arts Commission. So anytime you have this perfect recipe in place, you're having a meeting, whether you mean to or not. Next slide, please. To comply with the open meeting law, all commission and committee meetings must be noticed. There's a particular time frame within which they must be noticed, so there's no surprise meetings. Regular meetings are 48 hours ahead of time, special meetings 24 hours ahead of time. Notice means that the time and place of the meeting are posted at City Hall and the city's website, as well as the agenda. They, of course, have to be open to the public. Everyone has to be able to attend. So if you're ever meeting off site, it has to be a place where, for example, someone in a wheelchair with another disability must be able to attend, must be able to hear and see what's going on regardless of ability. Meetings must follow a written agenda. So specifically the adopted agenda and the one that was noticed. There are some ways to amend an agenda after it's been noticed or even during a meeting. It's best not to do that, in part because no action can be taken on an item that's added to an agenda during a meeting by law. And then finally, meetings must be memorialized in summary minutes. Next slide, please. This is your Attorney General. He says, the requirement that the open meeting law be complied with should not be evaded by holding smaller meetings with less than a quorum, or by having a go-between contact each of the governing body members to ascertain his or her sentiment. So that means if there's something that you really want to talk about, there's not time to have a meeting, you can't just call each other and have a chain of each person calls the next person in order to make a decision. While that would not break the law, it's really frowned upon. And honestly, it's only a matter of time before someone does get nailed for doing that. Definitely breaks the spirit of the law. And the public is not present when you do that. So please don't do that. No serial meetings. Next slide, please. Ex parte information, specifically ex parte information gathering, or EPIG, is receiving off the record information or an opinion regarding something that is before the Arts Commission. So if you have an informal conversation with someone in the grocery store or your friends or a colleague, someone in your industry, or you get an email or phone call, even if you didn't ask them to reach out to you, if it's unsolicited, which it often is, that is ex parte information because it happens outside of the meeting. You can also gather ex parte information when you when you make an individual site visit. So if you went somewhere to see where a public art installation was going to go, or you do research on the matter before the commission, or you're talking to people about to gather information. So anything that happens outside of the meeting is off the public record. And remember, public business shall not be conducted in secret. So that's typically not allowed. There are some exceptions, but generally ex parte information is inappropriate. Next slide, please. Idaho Supreme Court points out that when a board deviates from the public record, it conducts a second fact gathering session without proper notice. So it's like obviously gathering information without telling the public that you're going to do that. So the public can't participate. They don't know that you're doing it. The best way to handle ex parte information is to avoid it. But the Idaho Supreme Court also says the commission is not held to a standard of disinterestedness. So you're here because you know Meridian and you appreciate art, or you make art, or you know art. So you're not expected to just check your brains at the door. You're here because you know things that you didn't learn just exactly inside this meeting. So if you learn something specific, if you have information from outside of a meeting about something that you're talking about or make a decision on, the answer is you just disclose that. You never can go wrong if you just let everyone know, this is something I know that maybe you don't, or that's I know because of something outside of this meeting. You can also have a public meeting on site as a commission. The Arts Commission has done this pretty rarely, but it's been done before, to go together. So you notice the Parks Commission does it all the time. So they notice a meeting and they all go to a place together. And so the public is invited to attend that meeting, and they just keep good minutes and keep track of who's there. And that way they comply with the open meeting law. But doing it alone is not a good idea. That would be inappropriate. Next slide, please. The open meeting law does not require that the commission take public comments or public testimony, but the commission president may allow that. So really a lot of what happens at the meeting is driven by the chair, and the chair sets the agenda. Then what happens at the meeting is governed by the agenda. So yet another reason to stick to the agenda. You, the chair can kind of change on the fly whether or not to take public input, but that's not something that comes up here too often. Next slide, please. There is a way to have a meeting behind closed doors where the public is not invited. It's called executive session. City Council does it almost every week. There are 10 specific exceptions to the open meeting requirement: litigation, risk management, talking about employees, talking about records that are not subject to public disclosure, but it's unlikely that the Arts Commission would ever conduct deliberations under these circumstances. So this is really just for your information. If there's something that you feel that the commission needs to discuss privately, let me know and I'll let you know if that qualifies as an executive session item. And we can work with the chair, but that's going to be pretty rare. Next slide, please. Phone and online meetings. We've learned a lot about this over the last few years. The law does allow, of course, meeting by phone or online platform as long as one commissioner is physically present here at the notice location and everyone can hear what everyone else is saying. And of course, voting can never be a secret. Well, I said, of course, the law specifically says that voting can never be a secret. So no secret ballots. It just has to be out loud so that everyone can hear it. Next slide, please. So email and text and social media. This is something that's not really well addressed in the open meeting law. The open meeting law really envisions kind of the classic city hall meeting. But if you have a quorum of commissioners on an email thread and you're deliberating, that's an illegal meeting. So no one's there, but you're having a conversation. The public's not there. It's behind closed doors. So again, it's really easy for 2 commissioners or 3 commissioners to have an email thread talking about something that's before the commission, or even 1 commissioner could be out there having an email conversation with someone. That doesn't really rise to the level of an illegal meeting because it's there's no quorum present. It's still not a good idea. It's still off the record. And you could easily cross the line. So having an email conversation or something, a conversation on a virtual platform that violates the notice requirement, no one knows that you're doing it, no one's physically present anywhere, no one can hear you, and you're kind of voting, at least deliberating in secret. It also creates a record that might be subject to would be subject to disclosure to the public under the Public Records Act, which is a super mess when it's your personal email account. I don't want to look at your personal emails. I don't want to read your texts. So keep your deliberations at the meeting and that won't be an issue. An administrative message from, say, Cassandra or from myself is not deliberation to say who's going to be at the meeting. Do we need to reschedule? Something like that is just housekeeping, and that's not a substantive thing that you're deliberating about. Next slide, please. Anything you do in violation of the open meeting law is void, and subsequent actions are also void. The fix is to start completely over, properly notice the meeting, and do it correctly from the beginning, which you would imagine would be a pain and kind of a silly puppet show of yourselves. So it's best to just do it right the first time. If someone knowingly violates the open meeting law, you could be sued and fined, and you could actually be subject to criminal prosecution. And anyone who's affected can sue. To my knowledge, that hasn't happened, knock on wood, but it's definitely possible. I should say it hasn't happened in Meridian. It's happened in other jurisdictions. Don't let that happen to you. Next slide, please. One more, please. Oh, so clever. So one quick note, this is about the open meeting law, but I'm just going to bring to your attention the other piece of the Title 74, the Transparent and Ethical Government Act, the ethics portion. So as essentially government officials, you do have some ethical requirements. Some to know about are self-interested contracts. So you as commissioners cannot be interested in a contract with the city. There are some exceptions for volunteer commissioners, contracts where you don't get paid, or we can competitively bid and select you as as a contractor. It's definitely something that we need to know about ahead of time if you intend to bid on a project that the commission is deciding on, so that we can help walk you through that. Conflicts of interest, if you're asked to make a decision as a Meridian Arts Commissioner that benefits you or your household personally or professionally, monetarily, there's a whole process that we need to follow. It's not a complete no. It involves disclosure, and there are some other processes that we need to follow. Sometimes it's a no, but it can still happen. You can recuse yourself or just disclose. It just depends on the circumstances. So if that happens, please let me know ahead of time. Commissioners who are acting in the course of their official duties may not accept gifts of more than $50 in value. So that's an easy threshold to cross, and gets easier as inflation has more of an impact. So please keep an eye on that. And finally, you probably know this, but commissioners cannot grant favors either for free or in exchange for money. That's actually bribery. So don't do that. All right, next slide, please. So one more click. It's another one. I think I'm so clever. Okay. Is it a meeting? So I won't embarrass you guys by making you answer these questions, but I'm going to give you a moment to think. So let's say 5 commissioners are at the Initial Point Gallery opening, and you're talking about the best way to keep your daffodils from freezing when it snows in the middle of May. So is that a meeting? Click, please. You have a quorum, but you're gathered informally. It's not necessarily a meeting, so don't feel like you can't get together and have coffee or a party or something. Next. You again have a quorum. You're not deliberating, you're exchanging opinions, but it's not related to Meridian Arts Commission business. Therefore, the answer to this is it is not a meeting. So you don't have the magic recipe of quorum plus deliberations. Now, if 5 commissioners are at a gallery opening talking about applying for a grant to fund an artist in residence program, so now you're talking about, let's click and go in order. So you do have a quorum, you're not deliberating really. Next, please. That's not a meeting because you don't have an artist in residence program. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Next click. But if you eventually decide to fund an artist in residence program or start an artist in residence program, you have to mention this date at this time, these people talked about this, and this is what we said. That can be tricky, especially if it's, not something, it's obviously not a meeting. You didn't take minutes of your conversation. So again, you have to really be careful when you're talking about kind of art commission business or potential art commission business with each other. Okay, next slide. All right, 5 commissioners at a gallery opening talking about a summer concert series proposal that is on your upcoming agenda. Is this a meeting? Click, please. You have a quorum and you're deliberating. So you're exchanging opinions related to Meridian Arts Commission business. It's an informal gathering. The meeting was not noticed, or your gathering was not noticed, but it's a meeting. Don't do it. You have to kind of say, whoop, we're talking about Arts Commission business. Let's not do that. Let's talk about it in the meeting. What if there are 4 of you? Same scenario, there are 4 of you. So click, please. There's no quorum, but you're deliberating. So click, please. It's not a meeting, but it violates the purpose of the law, the spirit of the law, even though it's not an actual violation. Next slide, please. Is it inappropriate ex parte information gathering? So if you go to the site of a mural installation that's to be discussed at an upcoming MAC meeting, so you can see what the site looks like. It's you're off the grid. This is an off-record fact gathering session. Hasn't been noticed. It's not open to the public. Please, it's inappropriate. So avoid it. Please don't do this. What if you live near the site and you happen to go by there every day on the way to and from work? It's not necessarily, what have I done? Sorry, I keep going, inappropriate. What you need to do is, please click. You just need to disclose. So just if it comes up, say, I drive by this every single day. I live there. I know what it looks like. Here's what I know. Next slide, please. What if you all want to see it? Then that's not inappropriate. That's a notice site visit. That's a public meeting. You'll all be there. You'll deliberate. You're on the record. We'll notice it. We'll take minutes, and the public could be there if they want to, because they'll know about it. So that's okay. Oh, we're at the end. Oh, one more. So this really is, the next slide is just my contact information. If I'm not available, we have other attorneys in the office that can talk to you, especially about the open meeting law. That's pretty universal. If you are interested in a deeper dive in this fascinating topic, then here are the links. You can go to the Idaho State Legislature's page, Idaho statutes in Title 74. The Attorney General's office also puts out some great manuals about the open meeting law, ethics in government, public records. They do it as a Q&A format. So it's actually quite an interesting read if you're interested. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Emily? If not, thank you, Emily, for the presentation. With that, the next meeting is scheduled for June 9th. And at this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Maybe I can get it right this time. I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for attending. Have a good weekend.